begins to melt, and we move into spring. With it, there is a lot of expectations, an amount of energy that must be used for all sorts of things. And strangely enough, that finds its way into the very games that we play for enjoyment. I've been trying to think of what I want to build on the server for quite a bit, and I have struggled with a lot of the ideas that I've tried to come up with. I originally wanted to go and move all the way over here to this ice island in the sky, but as you can see, there's some things on the server. But I originally wanted to move over to the ice island in the sky, but I just kept hitting a wall with my ideas. And I don't know, I just always ended up coming back to this little village to trade with my villagers and to farm and to try and collect resources around here. I think it is because coming from the massive build of Season 1, it's very hard for me to try and sit down and be like, I'm gonna make something better, you know? I put like 100% into that build, and I'm very proud of it, but in the amount of effort I've put into it, any amount of effort I put into other things suddenly falls short. And I am very aware this is a me problem. But I think I thought I might share, because I also realize that this is just something a lot of people go through in general. A lot of my, like, hesitation to wanting to start building this whole thing has basically been because I keep wanting to build, like, something as big as my castle and put that much amount of effort into it and do all these crazy things and make it the best possible thing. And I feel like that's great and all when you have an idea on what to do, but it absolutely sucks when you have no idea what you want to do. I think this kind of goes in life as well. Because I know, for me personally, I've always very much struggled with, like, what I want to do with my life, you know? Like, why am I here? But I think also in just creating things on Minecraft and creating things in general, because I think the things we make in Minecraft is a form of art, and the videos around them are also a form of art. And I think when it comes to creating any form of art, you have to enjoy the process or else it's kind of just pointless to begin. And I think a large part of what's stopping me is just these really high expectations I have for myself. So I, in today's episode, have the grand plan of making the worst build, maybe not the worst, but making a, you know, okay build. And just not trying to make something perfect. Making something that is imperfect and just trying to have fun with it instead of making something amazing. Especially because I feel like in the Minecraft space, especially in the Minecraft building space, it can get kind of competitive in, like, how skilled you are in building. And so then you see other people's builds and then you're like, why do mine suck so much, you know? Like, what happened to me? And then you get down on yourself, and at least I find I get down on myself thinking that, like, none of the things I make look any good. And then that's just, like, a whole other problem, because then I don't want to build anything. I don't want to try if I know it's just going to look terrible. I think a lot of these things, again, are just an internal blockage or internal problem that doesn't really have much grounding in reality. Like, realistically, so long as you're enjoying yourself in a game, it doesn't really matter what things look like. And also, just because something is not, like, the single best build ever created, does not mean that it doesn't have value either, or that it's not, like, fun for you to make. And so, as I'm chipping away at this hillside here, I'm gonna just set myself the expectation that I'm not going to build something super game-changing amazing, beautiful, exceptional thing. Instead, I'm just gonna focus on something that I can actually make. Excuse me, this is my house. Please leave me alone. Recently, I had to read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker for a class that I have, and I find it to be a really insightful book in general, just in life. It's obviously important because, you know, it tells us, like, the importance of sleep and how many health-related issues you can get if you don't sleep. You know, the terrifying things with that. But one of the important things that I think it covers, and one of the things that I think is the biggest takeaway, is that in order to be a healthy individual, you have to sleep. It is foundational to your health and your body's ability to recuperate and survive. And without a healthy and full amount of sleep, you are at increased risk of all sorts of health issues, etc. But there's all studies about how people are far less productive when they get too little sleep. But one of the big things is your brain cannot physically retain memories without getting enough NREM sleep, which is basically deep sleep. Without NREM sleep, our brains cannot, like, process the things we've had in the waking days of our life. And because of that, we cannot retain any of that information. We cannot decide what information should be retained. I don't know about you guys, but I am someone who needs like 9 to 10 hours in order to feel well rested. And that is an unfortunate thing in today's society that basically expects you to be productive all the time. It makes you feel really lazy when really you just need a good night's rest. The reason I bring this up is because I feel like we have that same kind of attitude in just like every other aspect of life. We have this perspective that if we are not like working all of the time and being super productive, that basically everything else that we do is meaningless. If we're not awake all the time and we're getting all this extra sleep, then we're lazy. If we're resting and recuperating and all of that, when we could have been doing all of these other things, suddenly, you know, this is all the reasons why we're not getting the opportunities we want, etc. You must be a very lazy person. Oh, my shovel's gone. Must be a very lazy person for getting all of this sleep, you know? Taking care of yourself. How dare you? How dare you want to live? We also have the attitude of putting 100% effort into absolutely everything we do. And so that is why I think it's important for us to take a step back sometimes and go slow with things. You don't have to put 100% effort into everything you do, and that is why today the goal is to just make something more simple. Hopefully. I don't know. We're gonna be building it in. And so that's kind of one of the things that I think I'm gonna be focusing on as I build this, is just basically permission almost to do badly. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna do badly, but just the permission alone is kind of like enough to be like freeing. Like, it doesn't have to look amazing. It can just look like however it looks, you know? So with the outside of the inn mostly complete now, we can start working on the rest of it. I had a stream recently where we went over a lot of ideas to kind of expand upon for the village, and it's given me a lot of motivation to actually start building. Because like I said, I felt like I was losing a lot of motivation just because I wanted to create something perfect. So I've made something, you know, might not be perfect. It's got holes in the walls. It's got flat edges. It's got a staircase made of leaves on the side. I'll remove that, don't worry. It's got a whole hole in the wall because I couldn't figure out how I wanted to do the window just yet. But it's a work in progress, and I've been enjoying getting to build again and just also spend time planning out the village. And I think, even though I wanted to live on the ice biome, this area is becoming more and more my base. I'm pretty much a storage here. We'll work on the storage area in the next episode, because I don't think we have time for that today, but if we look here in FreeCam, I've planned out some areas for buildings, and I'll put an image on the screen right now for a general plan that we came up with, consisting of a bunch of buildings that should hopefully be fun. In this area, there is going to be like a fantasy kind of vibe, but I am going to go for more of like a medieval thing and trying to take the little details in and really just focus on those. I know I have a big plan now that I've created because I got kind of excited working on it, but I don't really think I need to focus on getting all of that done, let alone thinking about the big picture of it at the end. One of the things I just want to enjoy is taking my time on each little build and trying to put as much effort as I can into each individual one. So I think it's about time that we start working on some of the finishing details for this inn and, you know, maybe giving it an interior. This is an inn that will eventually have a stable over here for people traveling into the village. I don't know if I'll get to the stable today. Making it so that maybe there's like a distillery down here, something like a little tavern as well, and just all in all an area for people to stay in. This village is going to primarily service a little magic college up on the hills there. Not unlike noble colleges that would spring up in small towns every so often for the nobles to go and study at. This inn would probably be like both wandering travelers and all sorts of people coming in here, but also the wizards who want to study at the school would probably stay here as well. So we have a little bit of lore in our hands, and let's just get right into it. Yeah! And now it's complete. We have an inn, we have a tavern as well. This is what it looks like from the different angles. I got some bamboo windows, the scaffolding windows, and it's a very mismatched building with lots of like holes in the walls. You know, it's been through some stuff. We have a little sign out the front with a mug because they don't know how to read. This is a medieval village. They don't know words. We have a little symbol of trying to make a mug, but you know, they're also not very good at drawing, so that's my excuse. Down the bottom here, we have just like a simple little tavern or like a little bar area here. People can get some drinks, you know, after long days of work. Little like resting area here with a nice fireplace to kind of hang out with your friends, your family, whoever you're meeting up with here. And there's the back door, which will eventually go out to something else here. I don't know just yet. But upstairs, we have... This is to prevent zombies from getting up here. I had an issue with them coming in here. But we have just some simple bedrooms. They're not exactly very fancy or furnished or anything. I just gave them kind of minimal furnishing. Zoom out a little bit, but it's got little furnishings. This is the nicest room in the inn, so like the richest person who might visit. They even get a bathtub. Look at that. This is luxury. Nice bathtub, they get a fireplace. This is like the expensive room. Or maybe the owner of the inn lives here, who knows. One or the other. And here is another room. Whole bunch of areas. Now the one thing that I am missing that I am very sorry for, but I only remembered now, is I don't have a kitchen anywhere. But, you know, who needs food when you have ale? Yeah! I think I'll add like a separate building and we'll have a kitchen over there, but for now we don't have one. And upstairs in the attic we have the cheapest beds because you don't get a room, you just get a hole in the wall. There is a child in the window. Yeah, up here I have some villagers that I'm gonna use this as my villager breeder. So I got my mending and my looting guy over here because there were some tragedies in the village already. Like 2 or 3 villagers have died, so I need to repopulate. I worry for him when he ages up. He might not make it. But yeah, I had a lot of fun actually with this attic, especially with the roof and making it just so like, let me turn my shaders off because it's a bit dark. But just making it super like, I don't know, like different shapes, different things. It's not all even and nice. I think this attic turned out really well. Even if it's a bit empty, I feel like that's what it would be. It's just an attic with some storage and they're like renting it out for like the cheapest people who are staying here. You can't afford a room, you can afford up here, and maybe like seasonal workers and stuff that come to the village will stay up here. But yeah, I actually had a lot more fun building this than I would have thought. Just putting a whole bunch of detail in just everything. And just like, we got some, this is meant to be meat on the table. Tried my best with that one. So, you know, it's just like a whole bunch of different things. You come in here, you can sit down. We can sit. Backyard added the sit ability. Can you believe that? We can sit down here, chill out, hang out, eat some hay, have some fun, you know? But getting back to what I was talking about at the very beginning of the episode, I mentioned it's spring now, and winter is ending, and the snow is melting in many places, and because of that, things start speeding up. And to kind of get back to that, it's just a reminder that even the world has to take breaks and rests and doesn't go at full capacity at all times. I think that's a great thing to learn and just be reminded by, and just hang out and don't have to build your best work. Take it slow and have some fun while you're at it. So, I'm sorry if this video was a lot of my like rambling thoughts. Hopefully not too crazy, but like even having the leaf litter here on the ground as I'm walking is just really fun, and I think adds just something that makes me happy. Having leaves beneath trees, that makes me very happy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We're gonna be staying here in this village for a little bit. Probably the whole season, to be honest with you. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I have quite a few plans now. My brain is itching to go to build more now. But I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.